Hello everyone, I'm meteorologist Charlie Neese. It is Monday, the 5th of May, 2025, and we have an upside down weather pattern going on right now. Much cooler across the eastern part of the country than we were last week, and also severe weather risk returning to Texas, and we're going to be covering both of those areas in hotspot weather, where we just take a look at a couple of the weather hotspots across the country for the next few days. And look, I know there are a lot of weather channels you could be watching right now on YouTube, and I appreciate you spending some time right here with me. All right, no longer any delays. We'll get right to it, show you the weather hotspots. The much cooler than average weather continues across the Ohio and Tennessee valleys. Last week we were in the mid to upper 80s in many of these areas. This week, at least for today and tomorrow, temperatures much below average, and in parts of Tennessee struggling to get out of the 60s. Meanwhile, the chance of severe weather returns to parts of western Texas, and that chance of severe weather across parts of Texas does include a risk of tornadoes. So let's take a look at what the Storm Prediction Center is highlighting for a risk of severe weather. We have two main systems, one affecting the east, one coming back into Texas. These are huge upper level low systems that are detached from the main jet stream, meaning they're going to just kind of meander and slowly move toward the east, and it's going to be affecting these regions for the next couple of days, keeping the temperatures below average across the east. There's also a level 2 out of 5 risk of severe weather across the northeast. That would include parts of Pennsylvania, back into Ohio, West Virginia, and also North Carolina. And then a level 3 out of 5 risk for parts of western Texas. And again, that does include the risk for a few tornadoes. Then as we head into tomorrow, we still see a risk, a level 2 out of 5 across parts of Texas for the potential for strong winds with hail in any of the thunderstorms that do develop. Can't rule out an isolated tornado. Meanwhile, the risk of severe weather shrinks across the northeast because that system continues to weaken as it moves a little farther off toward the east. And then as we head into the middle of the week on Wednesday, the Storm Prediction Center is just highlighting a general thunderstorm risk. If there were any area that we'd be watching for stronger thunderstorms, it's probably going to be over parts of Missouri, Arkansas, down into Louisiana. We'll see if the Storm Prediction Center does adjust the risk of severe weather in the coming days for that area. All right, let's take a look at the jet stream. We have these two, again, massive areas of low pressure that are detached from the main branch of the jet stream. The main branch of the jet now is over Canada. This is one upper level low that's over the Ohio Valley into the Tennessee Valley. This one isn't quite detached yet, but it's in the process of doing that. Let me show you as we go through time. It's kind of a double barrel low pressure system. Also call this an omega block, where we get it's shaped like an omega, and these tend to be very slow moving patterns when this happens. So here's your one upper low, only slowly continuing to move toward the northeast. This is the new one that's detached from the jet stream now, and it's going to be giving that chance of severe weather across parts of Texas as that upper level energy rounds the base of that low. Meanwhile, again, the main branch of the jet stream up over Canada. And as I put this through time and as we go through the next few days, they slowly weaken and dampen out. And then by the time we get into Thursday morning, the jet stream well to the north, we still have these little impulses of what's left over of those low pressure systems, giving us chances for at least some scattered showers from Texas into parts of the southeast. And actually, as we go Wednesday into Thursday, we may start to see, because of some Gulf moisture pooling up in these areas, and with this energy still around, some very heavy rains will be affecting parts of Texas, Arkansas, Louisiana, Mississippi, and Alabama by the middle of the week into the end of the week. I'll cover that here with the GFS, the Global Forecast System computer model, also known as the American model. And there's your surface area of low pressure underneath that upper level low. We'll continue to see a cool pattern here with showers off and on through the daytime. Nothing particularly heavy. The heaviest of the rains will be off to the northeast side of the low. And then there's your new low over Texas, with your thunderstorms popping as we go into the afternoon and evening hours. This is at 10 o'clock in the evening on Monday, those thunderstorms. We'll take a closer look at this area here in just a moment. Also notice the snow's breaking out across parts of Montana and Wyoming on the north side of that low. And then as we head into your Tuesday afternoon, There you see the areas of thunderstorms, and this is where we're going to start to see the risk of some locally heavy rains developing with flash flood watches in effect for parts of Arkansas, eastern Texas, Louisiana, and Mississippi. This is on Tuesday at 4 o'clock in the afternoon, and that area of heavy rain will be shifting slowly east. There are your showers underneath that upper low across the northeast, but again, that system is weakening as it moves northeast, so mainly just some showers. Can't rule out a few cells that have some hail with this because these upper level lows are cold core. There's a lot of cold air above the surface, and sometimes when you get any kind of convection, any kind of thunderstorms, you can get some hail. And the snows continue here across the west, this time in parts of Colorado as we head into your Tuesday. Wednesday, the area of heavy rain shifts farther to the east, now across parts of Louisiana, Mississippi, Alabama, into Georgia as we head into Wednesday. And then the snows and the showers across the Rockies starting to let up and weaken, and we're starting to really see just some scattered areas of rain across the northeast as that system continues to weaken. A little closer inspection of what's going to be happening with a severe threat across Texas. As we work into the morning on Monday, the 5th, there are your showers and thunderstorms starting. And then as we work through the daytime, they expand and shift off toward the east. The heavier storms begin to really focus down to the south here, where you have a little bit more instability and a little bit more of a tap of Gulf moisture. But new cells are developing from New Mexico into parts of western Texas, where that enhanced area of thunderstorm risk is with severe weather on Monday afternoon and evening. And then as we go through Monday night into Tuesday, you can see a stormy night across western Texas, and that will eventually be moving up into Oklahoma by 8 o'clock in the morning. Oklahoma City on Tuesday morning, waking up to some thunderstorms, also still some thunderstorms around the Dallas area, with that severe risk shifting a little farther to the east on Tuesday. And you can see here by around noon, around Dallas, back to Waco, back into areas to the east of there, we're starting to see those thunderstorms. And again, any of these could contain hail and gusty winds, and can't rule out a few isolated tornadoes, especially as we go later in the day and we see more in the way of instability. And by the time we get into late Tuesday, into Tuesday night, this is 5 o'clock in the evening on Tuesday, the thunderstorms and rains moving into Arkansas, northern Louisiana, and we're going to see that flash flood threat develop through here. Now, underneath the low that's a little farther to the east, we're continuing to see very cool weather compared to average across parts of Kentucky and Tennessee. Nashville, you were well into the middle and upper 80s last week. This week, you're struggling to get out of the 60s for Monday. Tuesday, you should make it into the 70s. Louisville, Kentucky, Lexington, Kentucky, you're also seeing some much cooler than average temperatures. And that actually extends down into parts of Alabama and Mississippi, where on Monday morning, temperatures were well down in the 40s, even as far south as Birmingham, Alabama, and Montgomery, Alabama. But the showers, daytime heating, we see a few pop-ups during the afternoon, and then during the nighttime hours, it tends to wane as you lose that energy from the atmosphere. So the good news, if you're tired of the cool and showery weather across the eastern part of the country, while we will see it for a few more days, things will be getting better as we head into next week. All right, so this is the 6 to 10 day outlook from the Climate Prediction Center for May 10th through the 14th. You can see temperatures, because of those upper lows, staying well below average, and along with the rainfall across parts of Texas all the way back into Georgia. Meanwhile, we start to warm up across the plains and into the Rockies. But as we head into the week following that, May 12th through the 18th, you can see across the east, we start to see those temperatures rebound, and conditions will be getting calmer as well. So that's the way things look right now. Again, appreciate you visiting me here on Hotspot Weather. Hope you enjoy the rest of your week. I'll have another update in the next few days, and we'll see you then.